Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Okay, so I changed the light setting on the camera because so many people said they liked it at the end when it was darker rather than it was lighter, and now I feel like it's too dark. I don't know why, I feel like it's too dark. If you guys don't feel like that, let me know in the comment section below. I'm asking right away because today I filmed it in the bedroom when I was doing my other videos. I filmed it on the darker setting. I need to just mess with the camera is what I need to do, and just kind of figure out the lighting and stuff like that. But I feel like the other setting was so bright that it washed me out, and I feel like this setting is like unfiltered, all actuality of what you see. I think this is what I used to film it on. So each setting does something different too, like when you start the camera. Like, when I started the camera before, I would just start it and, like, instantly it would start recording. Now what it does on this setting is, it starts and then it kind of goes into it, which is weird for me. So, like, it starts and then it goes into it. So it's like, I have to wait a second before I say, you know, hello, 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 or whatever. So I'm just trying to kind of, like, get used to all of it right now. I don't know, like this one makes me feel more normal, whereas I don't know when I switched it to the other one. Okay, so this is the problem, is that all day long I'm carrying my camera around, and I am not technical. I have no technical skills when it comes to operating a camera whatsoever. I never read the instructions on it. I just messed with the settings. And so I used to have it on the setting that was on this little knob on the side. I can't show you because I'm using the camera, but on the side there's all these little knobs, and like one is like a camera to take pictures, one is like it has like a what do you call it, a camera for like making video, like, you know, like what do you call it, like it looks like a movie camera, and that's the setting that I usually have it on. And so that's the one that has this brightness, but underneath it, I know when I say this, people are going to look it up. I'm going to look it up, so I will educate myself on this, because I feel like after 8.5 years it's probably time. But underneath there's a setting there's like a knob underneath it that you can move around, but I haven't messed with it today because my day just kind of got away from me. So, I have to, like, there's even like a black and white setting, which I was like, when I first saw it, it's like, you know, when you first, like, you know, like on Instagram and like some of you on TikTok with the filters, it's like, oh my God, a new filter. When I saw it come up in black and white, I was like, oh my God, what if I started filming all my videos in black and white? Wouldn't that be like artsy and yet hilarious at the same time? So I don't know what setting to use. I feel like this setting is the most normal and natural, so I'll probably stick with this one. I wondered why. It was weird because I wonder, at some point, I feel like I used to have it on this setting, and then at some point, just carrying my camera around, that's what I was saying, is that I carry my camera around with me all day long. Sometimes, like, I'll, like, have a bunch of stuff in my hands, like, you know, if I'm doing, like, a book haul, or I'm taking up, like, you know, upstairs, like, the tripod and the camera and all this kind of stuff, and then I'll, like, drop the camera, and so probably when I dropped the camera at some point, it, like, turned, or I, like, grabbed it and turned it, and I didn't realize it. It's been on that setting, this is so stupid, I'm even talking about this, it's been on that setting for a while, because I started realizing that on my videos, the bedroom looks a lot brighter than it is. The bedroom is, I mean, it's bright, but it's not, like, that bright. And so I was like, why is it, like, washing me out? Like, I mean, I'm close to the lamp, but I'm like, the lamp is probably, like, you know, 2 feet away from me. So I'm like, why is it washing me out so much? And then today when I filmed it, I was like, I feel like I'm in the shadows, you know? Anyway, enough of that. So let me know which setting you like. But when I said it yesterday on my vlog, there were so many of you that said that you liked this setting, the darker setting or the more natural setting versus the light one. So anyway, yeah, today my day kind of got away from me. I'm like, what's hanging off my, this is when you know you're getting older, is when you have your reading glasses in the pocket of your t-shirt. So I slept in today. I went to bed really late again last night. Slept in because I had my therapy appointment at 2 o'clock. So I got up right at about 1 o'clock today and made the bed. I'll be honest with you, when I got up today, I was not feeling motivated at all. Like, at all. And I was like, okay, I hadn't posted on my Peterisms channel for a while, so I was like, I definitely want to do a Peterisms video. And then I was like, and then I think I'm just going to vlog. It's beautiful outside. I wasn't, like, unmotivated, like, in a negative way. I was like, I just wanted to sit around and read outside, honestly, all day is what I wanted to do. And both Tanya and Nikki both texted me and were like, God, I just wish I could just sit outside all day long today. And so I got in my head and I was kind of like, well, why can't I? You know, I have therapy, and then after therapy I could film my vlog, and then by 4 o'clock I could just sit from 4 to, you know, when Alex gets home, and I could just read outside, you know. But then after my therapy session, I just had such a great therapy session today, and I felt real motivated. And something switched in me. And so I was like gonna do my Peterson's video, and then I was like, no, I want to do a drama video, and I have so many drama videos I want to do, and so I filmed a drama video, and then I filmed my Peterson's video, and then I filmed my review video, and like right before I started my review video, and I was gonna do a booktube video, I was gonna do a review of, what do you call it? I was going to do a review of The Deep by Nick Cutter that I just finished. And then I had a Peter Does Stuff video that I was going to do, and I had a TV video that I was going to do, and then Alex texted me and he was like, I'm going to be leaving here in like 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, well that's a perfect excuse for me to just finish up my videos for the day, because when he comes home, I like him to be able to relax, and I mean, he's super sweet about it. He's like, I can be downstairs if you want to, you know, go upstairs and film, or vice versa. And now that the weather is nicer, I can film outside too. So, although it's supposed to get cold again this weekend, I think. Which is kind of sad. I was sitting out here earlier. Can you hear all the birds chirping? I was sitting out here earlier, and it's like the birds are chirping. It's like, I think, you know, like nests are being built, and all the animals are coming out. And I was like, and then it's going to get real cold again this weekend, you know? So anyway, so I ended up filming more videos than I thought I was. When I woke up today, I had the anxiety again when I woke up. I actually talked to my therapist a lot about it today, and it's like been the last 2 or 3 days that I've woken up, and it's lingered a little bit longer than before. We kind of processed some stuff about maybe why I'm feeling that way, but I don't really. You know, like one of the things that he reiterated for me is he's like, anxiety coming out isn't necessarily directly related to like, you know, like you're stressed about this, so then it comes out. He goes, it can. He goes, that can definitely happen sometimes, but that's not necessarily how it works. It doesn't typically work that way. And I said, well, I've been really relaxed in the evenings, you know, and so we talked about it, and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I'm definitely going to talk to my, you know, doctor about it tomorrow. I said to my therapist today, I said, you know, originally when I went to my doctor, he said that, you know, he was like, I can't remember what he said, like, I think he said 4 to 6 weeks to 2 to 3 months or something like that. I can't remember how long he said. And I said, you know, that was, I think, at like the beginning, it was either the end of November or the beginning of December when I went. I can't remember when it was. So that would be like, let's just say December, January, February. So it's now been 3 months, right? Which were on the tail end, like past what he said, 2 to 3 months. But I said, you know, when it started, I feel like I just talked about this yesterday. There are like, our neighborhood is never busy with cars very much. And I feel like since I started this vlog, did I not change the battery? Oh my God, the battery just went to the halfway mark. I must not have changed the battery. Well, you know what that means is I won't have to change the battery. Oh, there's my neighbor. I won't have to change my battery at the end. I did something different today. So before I vlog, I usually bring the battery in front of the computer, and then like I change everything there. But today I brought the camera and the tripod into the kitchen, and I would have sworn I changed the battery, but I guess I didn't. So, well, when this starts flashing, I'll go in and I'll change the battery, but we'll see how long it'll ride out. But anyway, there's never usually this many cars in the neighborhood, especially at this time. It is currently 6:55 p.m. on this beautiful, beautiful Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow's supposed to be really nice too. So, you know, when the anxiety started originally, I mean, it was hours, if you guys remember me talking about it. It was like, I would wake up, and it was like 2 to 3 hours. I just talked about this yesterday, didn't I? I don't want to get into all this again, because it's boring for you guys, probably. But like, I remember on New Year's Eve, even, this is how I know that it was like still going on at New Year's Eve, like when we went to the wedding. I can remember like we checked into the hotel. I was so excited about all that, and, you know, having this romantic evening with Alex, and I just really struggled getting in to the mood of all of it. And you know, he was so sweet, and I was like, Alex, like, I feel like I just felt like I was coming out of my skin that whole night, you know? And so, that was on New Year's Eve. So since it started, and it was like 2 or 3 hours, and then also, sometimes in the evening, when I was just like sitting there, you know, like reading a book, or I was watching shows or whatever, when I was the calmest, which is one of the things I've talked about with my therapist, when I was the calmest was sometimes when I felt the most anxious. Because we talked about, you know, he would say, well, sometimes when your body is like in this, you know, totally calm state is a lot of times when anxiety comes out a lot. And so there were, at the beginning, I would say the first month or two, there were times that it was hours. I mean, you know, when I would get up. It seems to be a lot of when I wake up, whether it's from a nap or whether it's from in the morning, or not more, 1 o'clock's not the morning, but when I get up for the day. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. I can't really, you know, like, it'll happen for like a day, and then not for 3, and then 2 days in a row, and then not at all. It's like, it makes no sense. And then there'll be like a whole week where nothing happens, and then it seems like recently, it's kind of been happening again. But there's nothing really like, because he asked me, he said, you know, we've talked about how anxiety isn't really necessarily set off by things, but are there things going on? I was like, no, not really. We even talked about, you know, a couple people have suggested to me on the vlog, and also friends of mine, that maybe I had kind of like some pre-existing anxiety before, and having the dogs and having Boo was kind of a buffer to that. And I talked to him about that today. We talked about it before, but I talked to him about it again today. And he was like, yeah, there could be some truth to that, you know? I've really been thinking a lot lately about getting a dog. I have kind of like a time set in my mind. You know, I keep on saying that I want to do it by, oh, there's my pool crew people. What are you doing?
We're out and about. It's nice.
I know, look at you.
We returned from the south.
I wondered where you were, because I saw all these people. Were people staying at your house?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
We've had strangers. We've had all kinds of stuff going on.
It's good to see you guys.
Our daughter had sewer issues, and they had no water.
Yeah.
So the 5 of them moved into our place.
Oh.
And then his car was used by anybody and everybody who needed car work done.
You guys are so nice.
Horrible. Here. Horrible. But anyway, the pool's going to open soon.
I was just going to say that to you. Look at you laughing at me. And you're going to be here. You're not going to be at the lake this year.
Oh, no. Not at all. We go wherever we're invited. You're looking good.
I am. Thank you. You look good too. I missed your sarcasm. But you know what? I have to tell you, your yard looks really, really good to the left of your condo. That mud swamp that y'all have over there, that the gas company did that to you, that looks great over there.
Well, guess what? They're going to come fix it.
They are?
Which is better than we've ever gotten from around here. We had 4 gas leaks.
I know, they were telling me that. Yep, they said they came out there pretty quickly, though.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's just a mess out there.
I'm sorry.
I called the guy today. He said, oh, we'll take care of it. We're at the top of the list to come out and get it fixed.
Well, that's good.
So maybe it will actually look nice.
There you go.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
It was good seeing you.
All right.
All right. Pool, the day it opens. You better be there.
I'll be there.
With your 100 pairs of sunglasses.
I still have Tito's sunglasses.
Bye. There goes Tito's sunglasses. So every time I see them at the pool, she always has a different pair of sunglasses on. And I'm always like, I love your sunglasses. And she's like, these? She's like, I think these are my granddaughter's sunglasses. And she'll have another pair of sunglasses on. And I'm like, oh, I love those sunglasses. What are they? She's like, oh, I got these free at the racetrack like 2 years ago. And he just goes, he held up his sunglasses. He goes, Tito's sunglasses. They're so funny. I am so ready for the pool to open. It's just such a gathering place for the neighborhood. I love it so much. Yeah, but talking about the dog situation. Oh my God, I can't believe this. I'm like, just remember the battery. I can't believe that the battery didn't. This must be the good battery too, because I think this is the one I filmed my drama video on. If I didn't change, no, I would have filmed the Peterisms video and the review on this one. So I don't know how much time maybe this is the bad battery. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I knew that something, see, I'm a detective. Remember I said, Like, there were people, like, staying at their house or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out. Anyway, so I also have to tell you about my squirrel feed, which I have to put more out there. I think I'm actually going to start putting some on the walkway, so I can, like, you know, get the squirrels to come up on the walkway. Well, maybe not just the squirrels, because there's something else. Hey, how are you? Your dog is so cute. How old is she?
She's 9.
Oh, she's 9?
Yeah.
She looks like 9 months.
I know, everyone thinks she's a puppy, but she's getting to be an old lady.
Oh, look how well behaved she is, too. Oh, she's so sweet. She's so cute. So anyway, speaking of dogs, that was what I was talking about. My goal has been, for the dog situation, like, into summer, beginning of fall. We don't even know, like, if we're doing a birthday trip yet. We don't even know if we're going to go, you know, for somewhere for our anniversary. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Honestly, it really has a lot to do with, like, the cost of Vegas at that. Well, if we go somewhere for our anniversary, it would be Vegas. But usually, and we might not just go that week. We might, like, go earlier, we might go later. I'm kind of, like, moving the date back a little bit. Like, earlier in summer is what I'm thinking. I'm really missing having, I think I talked about this before, I'm really missing having a little guy around the house, and having a dog, and having something to take care of, having a companion. I'm really missing it. And I'm also, the thing is, you know, I don't know what I thought would happen, like, when Boo passed away. I don't know. Oh, the battery is stopping now. Let me go inside and get another battery. I'll be right back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. I don't want to vlog for too long tonight because I want to go walk before it's too dark outside. But I was talking about, you know, like, I don't know, like, before Boo Radley passed away, I wasn't, to be honest with you, like, in that whole, when he was sick and all that kind of stuff, I mean, we were thinking about, like, what we were going to do with his medication during daylight savings time. We were thinking about, you know, like, the wedding, and that's why, you know, Alex originally got the hotel room downtown. And that's what we were thinking. Like, he was thinking about getting that hotel room downtown that was, like, you know, we could have him there and then go back every hour. And we were thinking about what we were going to do for Christmas. I mean, we weren't thinking about that he wouldn't be here. So I don't know what, I mean, there wasn't a time even before that. I mean, you know, so on his birthday, it was like the week after his birthday, or the day of his birthday, really, that he, like, started going downhill a little bit. So I don't know that I consciously before that thought, like, well, I mean, I'm sure I must have thought about it, but I don't really remember. Like, what will I do when Boo's not here anymore? Like, will I turn around really quickly and get another dog, or will it be months? I don't know that I consciously had ever really thought through that, if that makes sense. Because I you know, before Boo got sick this last time, I mean, I thought he'd live to be 18 or 20. I really did. I thought he will be the dog that lives to be, like, 18 or 19 years old. I really did. So I don't know that I'm sure I did at some point. Like, you know, I'd have a conversation with Caroline or Tanya, and they'd be like, so what do you think, like, when Boo's gone? I'd be like, oh, we'll get another dog, you know, right away. I don't know. I don't think I thought, like, the next day, but I thought, like, within a couple weeks, we probably would. Then Boo passed away. Then the anxiety happened. And then I just feel like this immense grief hit me from things, like, my therapist calls it combined grief, of things that had happened over the last, you know, 5 years, 10 years, and it was the end of an era, and I don't know that I even expected that, you know? And so, it's been now, you know, October, November, December, January, it's been over 4 months since we lost Boo. And the thing is that I'm getting to a point where I don't ever want to not have a dog, you know? Like, I don't want to ever get to a point where I say to myself, like, I don't want to have another dog. I don't want to get to that point. But, like, when people send me, like, rescue information, I have so many friends of mine that work for rescues, not just in Indiana, but, like, you know, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois, stuff like that. I have so many friends that are constantly sending me stuff about a dog they think would be perfect for me, is what they say. I almost am kind of like, I don't even look at the pictures. because I'm just like, I don't even want to entertain the thought. And because I'm like, I'm not ready right now. And so if I start looking at it, or I start reading their stories, and, you know, the other thing is, I'm kind of all over the place with it. Like, I don't, well, let's say this first. So, I'm almost kind of getting to the point where I'm like, I'm scared that I'm going to get to the point where I don't ever want to get a dog again, if that makes sense. And I don't want to do that. The dogs have brought so much to our lives, and I don't want to ever get to that point. And I think I'm kind of getting a little bit scared of that. You know, people ask me all the time, they're like, well, what kind of dog do you want to rescue, or what kind of dog do you want to get? And I'm like, I don't know that I really care. I know I don't want a big dog. I know that. You know, Alex has said that, you know, for our next dog, he would really like our dog to be able to travel with us at least sometimes. So that if we took an extended trip to San Diego to visit Jesse and Fufu and we stayed in an Airbnb out there, or if we took an extended trip to Florida or somewhere like that, that the dog could come with us. So like that's one of his like things, is that he wants the next dog to be able to travel with us at least sometimes, you know? So I don't think either one of us want like, and you can travel with a bigger dog, obviously, but I mean, people do. But past that, you know, I said earlier, like, I kind of want some, like, ugly, awkward kind of dog. I do. I'm real attracted to kind of, like, ugly, just, like, little, funny-looking dogs, you know? I used to be really, like, I only wanted, like, a male dog. I don't even know that I care that much about that anymore, you know? I love Caroline's dogs, you know, like, Mabel and Lola so much. She also has another dog. She has a male dog that she rescued years ago, I think. He's, like, 12. He's huge. He's like a black lab. And then, you know, Tanya has 2 female dogs. One of them looks like a big Boo Radley. And so, I don't know that I care about that anymore. And then another thing was that I really felt like I wanted a dog that was younger, like 6 months or younger. That I wanted like a puppy. Like that was something that like I really felt pretty strongly about. And I still would like to have a dog that was closer to, you know, the beginning of its life or whatever. I know that I don't, it's not that I don't want one, it's that I don't know that I have the emotional capacity today to rescue a senior rescue dog that could only be with us for 6 months. Maybe down the road, I will, you know, feel stronger about that. I don't feel emotionally strong enough to do that today, having just gone through 3 losses with 3 dogs. In the last, you know, 5 years. I don't know that I am comfortable to do that. But like, Mabel is 5, and that Caroline rescued, and I think Lola was 2 or 3 when she rescued her. And I mean, Mabel acts like a little puppy, and she's acclimated very, very well. And so, you know, a lot of people will send me, you know, rescues that are 2 to 3, 4 years old, and there's part of me that, it's interesting, a lot of the rescues that people send me, I don't know why this like gets me so emotional every time, but a lot of the rescues are, like, the puppies tend to be puppies that come from like mills that they've rescued. And the older dogs, I feel like I've had in probably the last, I mean, people are sending me like a lot of like rescues. I'm like, I just wanted to send this to you. I know you're looking at, I always am like, thank you, appreciate it. And I don't really kind of look at it. But the ones I have kind of just read like a little bit about them. It's like, I don't read their whole thing, but it'll be like, you know, they're at this shelter because their owner passed away, or their owner had to go into assisted living, or their owner had to go into a memory care unit and they didn't have any family or friends to take the dog. And, you know, I don't know why that really like breaks my heart so much, that first of all, that this owner of this dog, you know, had to go in. I mean, that alone, I have so many friends of mine right now that their parents are going into memory care units. I've actually had friends of mine who, like, their parents have gone into assisted living or memory care units, and a lot of times that happens like within 2 or 3 days. It's not something that like they plan for like a month in advance. And so then they're scrambling to figure out what they're going to do with their cats and dogs. And I've had so many friends of mine that have like brought them into their own homes and whatever. I don't think I've had one friend that's like taken their parents' dogs, and I'm not saying that I judge this at all, because I think you have to do what you have to do in that situation. But I think like almost every situation, my friends, like either them or their kids, have taken the pets in. But there's something about that to me, to just imagine this person that, like, you know, as an only child, you know, before I was with Alex, I would think to myself, you know, like, who's going to take care of me when I'm older? I mean, I'm sure I'll live in an assisted living program. And if I have a dog, like, what would happen to that dog or cat, you know? I mean, I wouldn't have been a cat because I'm not a cat lover, but I thought about that. And so, you know, now to see these dogs that are, you know, in rescues because their owners are in assisted living programs, or because, you know, they have dementia and they're memory care units or whatever. I don't know. There's something about that makes me really sad. It's interesting because my neighbor across the street, she and I were talking about that the other day. She and her friend, so she had like 2 best friends from like her 20s and all this kind of stuff. They've been friends their entire life. And one of their friends, like, needs to be in an assisted living program, and they've been, like, driving her places and whatever, and she's like, you know, it's like, that's what you do for your friend. Like, oh, I said to her, have you been reading a lot this winter? And she's like, no, I know her friend's name, because she's been telling me about it. Saint, an absolute saint. I mean, like, every day she goes over there and takes her doctor's appointments and whatever. And we were talking about, like, she's like, you know, she doesn't really want to leave her house. And she's like, I get that. She's like, but if she was, like, in an assisted living program, even if she had her own apartment, like, she'd have on-access care, and, like, they would take her to her appointments and whatever. And she's like, I'm willing to do that. But she's like, because I know she would do it for me. She said, but, you know, like, there's all these. And I said, you know, it's interesting. I said, because if you had asked me, like, in my 20s, I would have said, like, you'll have to pull me from my home. Like, I will never go live in, like, a retirement home or an assisted living care program or something like that. And I know that there are some out there that are not great. I know that. I've had enough friends of mine that have their parents in assisted living programs, memory care units, where the care, it's not even that they care so much what they look like, it's that the care is, like, subpar. And they've had to, like, fight with directors to just get the care they want, and medication checks. I mean, I've, like, had so many. I mean, I probably have had, in the last 2-3 years, at least 10 friends of mine that have gone through that, who, you know, I've had Caroline too, like, I mean, friends of Caroline's that I know who have had parents that have passed away. And one of her friends recently, the father was in assisted living and the mom was in memory care in the same unit, and they died within a month of each other. But I've had so many friends of mine that have had to, like, have meetings once a week with the director because their parents weren't getting the care they needed, and, you know, from anything from not being showered to wrong medications to not having medication, you know. But then I've also heard, like, really great stories about really good, you know, facilities and things like that. And so, you know, it's interesting, we talk about this whole generation of people that are now older now, and memory care units and assisted living programs are bigger now than they ever were. And I think this idea of, like, elderly abuse and not being taken care of, I think we sometimes don't give the regard to these people that are older, that they've lived an entire life and they probably know more than we do about things, you know. And then that must be hard for them to leave their homes. And I can't even, you know, I can't imagine if tomorrow, like, I had to, like, you know, whatever. But I was telling her, I said, you know, the older I get, like, if tomorrow, Alex and I, we've had to talk about this. I mean, I'm 12 years older than Alex. We've had to talk about this. We've had to talk about, it makes me sad. I mean, like, we've had to talk about, like, what happens if I get to the age, you know, that, I mean, it could happen to him too, I guess, but we've had the conversation on both sides, like, what happens the day that I need to be in a place like that, you know, or whatever. And I told him, I said, you know, do what you need to do for me. You know, we've got the money set aside. You do what you need to do for me. Like, it's weird to even think about those things, you know, that you ever think that you're going to get to the age where you would have to think about those things, but you do. But I said to her, I said, you know, like, when I was in my 20s, I would have been like, there's no way, like, I'll live in my house until I'm, like, 100 and I die, which I'll probably never make it to 100 at this point. But there's something to me about it. Like, I can remember my Aunt Kathy, after she had this hip surgery, she was in this one out in, like, north side of Westfield, and it looked like a log cabin, this big log cabin. Alex and I went and visited her, and I remember it was, like, out in the middle of nowhere. It was beautiful. And it wasn't, like, the super expensive one or whatever. They had, like, a rehab unit in it, and that's where she was for her She was like rehabbed for her hip, but it was like an assisted living program with like apartments. Like, you could have an apartment there and like have a car and like leave, and or just have an apartment. You could go in and out and have groceries in your apartment. It was like that kind of assisted living. It had like several different units. They had a memory care unit. They had all this kind of stuff. And I remember we walked in there, and when you walked in, it was like these high beamed ceilings. It looked like a log cabin inside, and they had this big screen TV, and they had music playing, and people were sitting on all these leather couches, and there was like a fireplace, this huge stone fireplace, and people were reading and playing games and doing puzzles. And the cafeteria was like really nice. They had like a movie theater in there, and they had this huge gift shop, and they had like a little grocery store, and I thought, I could do this. Like, I really could, and that's what I was telling her. I said, the older I get, it doesn't sound as bad as it did when I was younger, I don't know. And I think being around other people, I think they have a lot going on there that like keeps your, mental and physical, abilities going on and stuff like that. I don't know, I know they're extremely expensive. When I hear friends of mine who are paying $6,000 to $12,000 a month, out of pocket, because sometimes, Medicare won't, pay for it unless they do this, and they have to jump through hoops to get Medicare to pay for it, especially memory care units mostly. And then who knows if Medicare will even exist, and Social Security and all this kind of stuff. So maybe it'll look completely different by the time that I'm at that age. I don't know, but how did I get down that? Talking about people send me these rescue dogs when they're, and I think, I remember talking to my dad. My dad will be 85 this year, and talking to my dad when they got their dog that they have now, and he said to me, this will probably be the last dog that I ever have. And there just was something, I can remember my grandma, my dad's mom, telling me stories about this like shed they had out back, and my dad and his best friend when he was growing up, who's like been his best friend, who's an attorney, and has been his best friend. His dad was like the neighborhood pastor, and has been his best friend like his entire life. That he was like, my grandma would tell these stories about how my dad and him would like have these stray dogs that they would find, that weren't anybody's dogs, and they would put them in the shed. My grandma said like at one point she walked in there because she was like, her blankets were disappearing, and she's like, where are my blankets going? And so she walked in this shed, and she found like 20 stray dogs, like my dad and his friend, and they're like 8 or 10 at the time, in this like shed in the backyard. It was like a garage like behind the house. I had like 20 of these dogs that were like sleeping on blankets all over, and my dad had like food bowls in front of them, and I think that's my dad at 8, and my dad has had so many dogs in his life, and my dad is just like loved just always having his dogs right next to him or on his lap. And there's my neighbor coming outside. She looks so pretty in her little pink shirt. She looks like she's on a mission, so we'll see if she looks over here. Are you going to book club or something?
Yes, but not the neighborhood book club.
What does that mean?
It's just gals that for like 20 years we've met.
In the neighborhood?
No, well.
It's so nice out. Well, have fun at book club. I said, in the neighborhood? And she goes, well, so-and-so lives in the neighborhood. But anyway, so it's this book club that she's been doing for 20 years with gals outside this neighborhood. But now the one that hosts it, she's in the neighborhood now. So she's walking down there. But anyway, she's carrying her book with her. That's how I knew it was book club. But I had to stop the camera because she said, well, Judy Smith lives in the neighborhood now. I love when people say stuff that to me. Like, neighbors will come up to me all the time, and I'll be like, something about, like they'll go on about something, and I'll say, now, what's going on? And they'll say, well, Tom Jones that lives over on Smith Street, like, Tom Jones. I'm like, I've never heard of Tom Jones before in my life, not the singer. They'll be like, well, Judy Smith? And I'm like, Judy Smith? They'll be like, Judy Smith, the one that has the, and they'll always describe him some way that, makes some kind of sense. And I'll be like, oh, Judy Smith. And they'll be like, and I have no clue where Judy Smith lives. And they'll be like, he lives 2 doors down from Judy Smith on the right. And I'm like, well, I don't know where Judy Smith lives, so it doesn't matter. I don't know where Tom Jones lives. And I'll just be like, oh, okay. And they'll be like, so And I'm like, yeah. It's like they always tell me names of people in here that I have no idea. By the way, I just have to say, this guy that lived in our neighborhood, so I think I've shared this story before. This guy lived in our neighborhood. He actually lived right over there in this condo right over there when we moved in here. He lived here before. He lived here when my mom was here, and then when my mom passed away, he was still here. And then, so he lived in here. Well, my Uncle Dave and him, when my Uncle Dave, Caroline's dad, used to live like 2 blocks over, because that's the house Caroline grew up in, when they lived in this neighborhood. The last time I said that, people got so confused and were like, I thought Caroline lived. No, this is the house that she grew up in. It's like, that's why my mom moved into this neighborhood, was because at the time that my mom moved in here, my aunt and uncle still lived in that house, which is literally walking distance. When I go on a walk, it probably is a five, I would say 10 minutes, but I don't even think it's that far. 5 to 7 minute walk from here. I don't know how long it is, but 5 to 7 minute walk from here to my aunt and uncle's house. So anyway, this guy that, who's texting me? This guy that lived in here was so nice, and my uncle and him would walk like they were friends. They played tennis together in the summers. He had known him for like 30 years, and he would go visit my uncle in the hospital, because my uncle was in the hospital a lot of times because he was, you know, a long-term heart patient. He would go visit him, and he was the one that changed the carriage lights on. He would always put, like, you know, people's like trash cans up and stuff like that, and then like wheel them up, and then he would change the carriage lights. If you had newspapers, he'd throw like, if the newspaper was in the driveway, he'd like throw it up or bring it up to your front. He was really nice neighborhood guy. I don't even know that. I think he sat on the board at one point, but I mean, that wasn't why he did it. And so he would like get the light bulbs and like the carriage lights on. So we have 2 carriage lights on either side. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but like this one up here. But we have 2 of those on either side of the garage door. Every condo does. And so he would go around and change them when they went out. And so nice. And his wife had been like, she had been like in her bed, like she was like bed whatever, for years. She was really, really sick. And so, and he was just like, loved her so much. I can't remember what her name, oh, I just remember what her name was, because Caroline said something about it the other day. And so, when she passed away, this would have been about the time that I maybe started vlogging, maybe before that, but I feel like it was about the time I started vlogging. Anyway, I feel like it would have had to have been before that. But anyway, he was walking one day, and he had this little dog named Gizmo. And Gizmo, one day, like, anyway, before he had rescued Gizmo, Gizmo's owner had left him outside or something, and his tail got in frostbite, so they had to remove Gizmo's tail. So Gizmo had no tail. And Gizmo was the cutest little dog in the entire world. And so he would walk Gizmo every day on this leash. And so one day he was out here, and it must have been when my aunt was still alive. I mean, it obviously would have been, because it would have been like 10 years ago or something. It must have been before I started vlogging. And so when I saw him coming down the street, I was sitting out here reading or something, and I walked down there and I said, hey, and I was like, I'm really sorry, you know, I heard about your wife, like, you know, and I said, are you doing okay? And I'll never forget, he just looked at me and he said, I mean, he was kind of like, not real funny guy, like pretty, I mean, very nice, but just very, you know, like always pretty serious kind of, you know, very nice, very caring. And I'll never forget, and he wasn't walking Gizmo on a leash that day, I noticed. It had literally been like 2 days since his wife had passed away. I remember I told Alex this, because Alex knew him too and liked him. And Alex just like, when I told him this, he just like, tears welled up. I said to him, I said, are you doing okay? I feel like I've shared this on here before. If I've shared this, it's been a long time since I've shared this. But I said to him, I can see us, we were standing right by the mailbox. And I said, are you doing okay? And he said, no, not really. And he said something like, you know, we were married 50 years. And he said, 50 years is a long time to love somebody. And I was just like, damn, you know. And he said, but she's free now. I think she had cancer for a really long time. He's like, but she's free now. And he said, and that's why he said, Gizmo, I'm not walking Gizmo on a leash anymore. I can't remember how the conversation went. He goes, that's why I'm not walking Gizmo on a leash anymore, because if she's free, then I want Gizmo to be free too, and he's going to not walk on a leash anymore. He walked every morning, had a flashlight, he would like throw people's newspapers up here. He loved that little dog, loved walking that little dog. And then a couple years after that, Gizmo passed away. And then he got remarried, moved out of here, got remarried, and then they moved back in here, into this neighborhood. The woman he married had been, like, a family friend, and, like, his wife had said, like, I want you guys to, like, and he's like, no, we're just friends. And it was, like, this long time, like, after they got, it wasn't, like, 3 years. It was maybe, God, maybe it was, like, 15 years ago that this all happened. Because it was, like, 5 years. Because I can remember my aunt saying to me, like, his wife, like, she loved this woman and and he was like, no, we're just friends and whatever. And then they did end up getting married somehow. So anyway, and then they moved back in here, and they moved on the other side of like where I walk on the bridge, like that street over there. And then I just found out like he passed away like 2 weeks ago. I told Caroline, she already knew. And I said, Caroline, I just feel like everybody that we knew from our parents, like when we were growing up, is gone. But I just remember he loved that little dog Gizmo so much. Gizmo from the Gremlins movie. But you know, when my dad said that to me about, like, I think about my dad, you know, from like I mean, I can even remember my dad's dog's names from when he was a little kid. Like, he used to tell me these dogs' names, you know, these stories. And actually, my mom gave me this picture. I don't know why she had it, but I ended up taking a copy of it. And so I made a copy of it. Like, do you remember back in the day you could go to CVS and they could make like a copy of like a real photograph? I mean, now we have, you know, all this apps and you can do it online, all this kind of stuff. But my grandmother had given my mom or dad this picture of my dad when he was like 5. So my dad had an outhouse behind his house. Feels like this is so old-timey. My dad had a outhouse behind his house until he was 21 years old, which is like even crazy to think. That family of 5 kids, 2 parents, had an outhouse. You know, my grandpa was a homicide detective, but he did. My dad had an outhouse, like no inside toilet, outhouse till he was 21 years old. And so there was this picture of my dad at like 5 years old with my grandpa's like military hat on, and he's sitting on the steps, the wooden steps going up to the outhouse. It's such a cute picture of my dad, and he's holding this, like, the leash with this dog, and it was like his childhood dog that he had on this leash, and he's got this cute, I'll have to bring the picture out sometime and show you. But my mom had it in a frame in our house, and so when she sold the house, she was like, you need to give this to your dad. Like, so I think I gave it to him for Father's Day or something like that. But I made a copy of it. So I have a picture of it too. Because I love this picture so much of my dad. And, but you know, I think about that. Like, my dad, his whole life having dogs. And then to be like, this is probably the last dog that I'll ever have. It's just the conception, you know, that you've lived this amazing, wonderful life, but that you're at the end of your life. You know, it's like, every time I tell this story, I just get so choked up. It's like when my dad went to go see my Uncle Dave for his last time, you know, Caroline's dad, at Caroline's house, and my dad and him were so close their whole lives, you know, and my dad shared it, you know, his funeral, because my dad gave a eulogy, and he said, that, you know, like he sat on the end of Dave's bed, and he said, and Dave looked at him and said, we're probably never going to see each other again, are we? And my dad said, no, we probably aren't. As sad as that makes me, to imagine that with like Caroline or Tanya or Alex or anybody, you know, it's like, and I don't even have that many people left in my life that it would be like, you know, but that I've known that long, you know. Oh, here's this sweet couple that she's got a son out on it. Hey, how are you? Oh, we stop it.
I'm waiting to see if you're out here when it gets cold again.
I didn't sit out here a lot this winter. I sat inside because it was nicer. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
As sad as that makes me, like, to have made it to the end of your life, you know, like to your 80s. I think my Uncle Dave was 83 when he passed, or 81. And that's a good life, you know, like, but to be so conscious of that, I don't know. It's like when I talk to my mom's friend Susie, you know, I talk to her every once in a while on the phone, and remember we were talking, and she is just 80, and, or 80, 81, I think, and she said, I said to her one time, like, something about, she's like, it's hard, like, when you get to the age where everybody that you knew is gone. She's like, all my friends, everybody that I knew is all gone. She's like, your dad's literally the only, Susie and my dad. Susie knew my dad before she knew my mom, because she knew my aunt first, but she was like, and my dad knew my aunt. Have I shared the story before? So my dad knew my aunt, because they're the same age in school, in college, and so he knew my aunt before, like, my mom came. Anyway, so I mean, an amazing life. Like, if my dad was sitting here, he'd say, I've had an amazing life, you know? I don't know why, like, that made me so sad today thinking about that. I don't know. I think all of that is why, like, I don't want to get to the point where I don't want another dog, you know? Like, dogs have been such a huge part of my life, and, I don't know. But I'm kind of moving back the time that I'm open to it. It's not now. But, like, midsummer, you know, I was looking late summer to fall. I'm now, like, midsummer. And this is the thing, like, if somebody would send me something and I thought, this is the dog that I'm supposed to be with, if, like, you know, I felt like, this makes sense. Not today, but then, I think at that point I'll be open to thinking about it. I'm also not rushing into it. Like, if I don't feel like it's right, like I said, I mean, if it's a year from then, if it's January, I feel like I've been praying on it a lot. I've been praying a lot on God send me the dog that I'm supposed to have. Like, that's just how I've been praying on it. And I believe that, you know, I do talk about spiritual stuff on here sometimes, but I don't talk about it like that, like literally. But I do pray on that. I do believe that God will put whatever dog in my path that I'm supposed to be with. I do believe that, you know, that whatever dog that he gives to Alex and I is the dog that we're supposed to have. I believe that, you know. I also kind of, like somebody said, the last dog you have picks the next dog that you get. And I do believe that a little bit, you know. It's like, it's been weird because there's been a couple nights that when I'm sitting here I'm like, is it mice? Like, we have squirrels on our roof. I can hear it, you know, like, but it's not that. It's like, I hear something on the stairs. It's almost like I feel like, I'm like, sometimes like, I'll be like, Alex, like, is he up, you know? It'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning. It sounds exactly like Boo Radley, like when he used to, like, in the middle of the night would, like, run down the stairs for me to take him outside. It's weird. It's like I can hear, like, something on the steps. And as strange as this may sound, I do talk to Boo and Tucker and Pee-Pee, you know? Like, I told Alex this the other night. I may have said this on a vlog, but I was saying something to Boo the other night. I was like, something about getting another dog. And he's like, that's okay, Dad. You get another dog. You're lonely, Dad. Get another dog, you know? And I don't know. I am lonely here sometimes without having a dog. Sometimes I'm not at all, you know? And other times I'm like, damn, I miss having a dog. So, when the time's right, the time's right. I'm not open to it right now, but I think I'm getting closer to being open to it, you know? I also don't want to get so closed off from it that I just don't ever want another dog again. Speaking of animals, so I was sitting out here last night and... Did you hear the birds? I was sitting out here last night. What were we watching last night on TV? Oh, we were watching Beverly Hills. And then we watched Watch What Happens Live. And Dorit was on with Gabby and Dylan from... Traders, and then after that, it was Portia Williams and Law Roach, the stylist, who I absolutely love. Law Roach. He was a judge on Legendary. I think Alex might watch Legendary. Like, if I say to Alex, like, you should watch this show, like, he won't, like, turn it on immediately. But, like, if I say it and I plant the seed and then, like, down the road, like, he'll be like, oh, I'm watching this show, like, because you said something, it was good, right? But it's, like, you know, like, down the road. So last night, I was like, oh my God, I love Law Roach so much. He's, like, ruthless and like, he is so direct and so real on Legendary. I love the advice that he gives to people. And so I said something about, oh my God, I love Law Roach. And he goes, he was on Legendary, right? I was like, he's going to watch Legendary. But watch. I can tell you he's going to watch it. He doesn't really like competition shows. So we were watching that. And then I had called Tanya earlier in the day. She had called me. And then she had called me again. And so that was when we were watching Portia Williams, first of all, on Atlanta. Like, she is gorgeous. Like, she is absolutely gorgeous. And... just so, I mean, just gets more and more beautiful. I mean, the older that she gets. I mean, she's still not that old, but she is so pretty. And, so in the middle of it, Tanya called. So I was like, I'm gonna take this call. So I sat out here and I was talking to Tanya. Okay, you know I've been waiting for these squirrels. I was like, I looked over at to see if the squirrel was in that tray over there, which it's not right now. But I'm sitting out here, and do you know what came and was eating food from over there? I said to Tanya, I go, and now it's looking at me. This was when I was talking to Tanya. It wasn't when I was vlogging, was it? Because as I said it, I was like, I've got to remember to tell the people in the vlog this. So yesterday, all that food was out there. It is all gone today. I have to go out there and put more feed out there, okay? Do you know what sat out here and ate that last night? This little bunny rabbit. It was the cutest thing. It would eat, and then it would like come to the very end of the walk, and I was sitting here talking to Tanya on the phone, and it would just sit there like this and just like look at me. And then it would go back over and eat a little bit more. All that feed is gone. It ate all that food last night, unless it brought its brothers and sisters. It was a real small little bunny rabbit. I mean, it must just been like, you know, little, I don't know, what do we call, is there a word for it? Do they call them puppies or something like that? I don't know what you call a bunny baby. Somebody will let me know in the comments. Probably Mare, I'm sure she knows. But anyway, she knows everything about nature. So anyway, let's call it Margaret Wrinkle. Let's ask her what it's called. So, but I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that there's this little bunny out there. But then I was like, I am going to start putting food on the walkway so these little animals will come up, because this little bunny kept on coming over like to the edge of the walkway, like in the grass, and just looked at me. And I was like, I'm going to keep on like, you know, feeding it so that it comes out here at night. And then, you know, can you feed them like carrots and stuff like that? Is like a real thing, or should you not do that with rabbits? Like, do rabbits really let up, like cut up? Does anybody know about rabbits? I mean, I can Google it. I can look. I will Google it before I do it. I Google everything before I do it. But do they like cut up little, like, you know, carrots and lettuce and stuff like that? I don't know. So anyway, talked to Tanya, and then I went upstairs, and I was like, I'm going to lay down, and I'm going to take a nap for a little bit. So I took a nap, and Alex was, well, he was watching something. I can't remember, not Suits, because when he came home tonight, I said, what are you going to watch? He goes, Suits, because I didn't watch any last night. So, oh, no. No, when I went upstairs last night, I'm getting my day so confused. When I went upstairs last night after I talked to Tanya, she and I talked forever out here. Oh my God, we got laughing so hard. And, so anyway, when I was talking to her, I went inside and I heard the fan. I was like, he's got the fan on already? Is he going to bed? So he'd gone to bed. And at that point, it was like 11 o'clock. And so, so I was like, I'm going to lay down for like an hour. So I laid down till like 12:15 or something like that. Nikki went to bed early last night because I texted her. She said, are you up? And I texted her when I got up, which was like a half an hour later. And I said, I'm up now. Are you still up? And she never texted me back. But she got her nails done today. She was texting me all about her nails and stuff like that. So when I got up last night, okay, first of all, I just want to say, I am so ready for these books to get here. Okay, so anyway, I'm ready for these books to get here because I'm almost at the end of the Life as We Knew It. So I knew I wanted to read that last night. What did I do first? I did something on the computer last night. I was looking up something. I can't remember. I sat at the computer for a while and I was looking up stuff. I don't even remember what I was looking up. But anyway, so I sat in front of the computer for a while. What time is that? I sat in front of... Who else texted me? Oh my God. So I was sitting in front of the computer last night. And then I was like, okay, I want to read. And so I read, by the time I got to reading, it was probably, do you guys notice a difference now on this? Okay, so you can see now, like, do you remember before when I would say, like, it's dark outside, but it doesn't look dark on camera? You guys can see that it's getting darker, right? Okay, like, now you know I'm not crazy. Like, when I would show it, it would be like, it would be dark outside, and it would still look like it was light with the sun. So you guys can see on here that it's getting darker, right? Oh, look at that dog, it's beautiful. Oh, Tanya loves a golden retriever. So anyway, I do want to walk tonight. I want to listen to more of the James Patterson book, because I haven't. So I read last night, and I have exactly 40 or 50, I can't remember, 40 or 50 pages, but it's exactly left of Life as We Knew It. So I'm really, really ready to read the next one in the series. So I'm excited about it. There's 4 in the series. So, but I've not finished Maximum Ride because I haven't read Maximum Ride in a while. So if I finish it tonight, I might try to finish Maximum Ride because I think I've got like 100 pages left of Maximum Ride to read from James Patterson. I need to get that book done before I forget every character in that book. So anyway, I mean, I've read like 3/4 of it, so I just need to finish it. So I read that last night. I just couldn't put it down. I almost finished it. I was like, no, save some for tomorrow night. So I sat there and read, lit the candles. What's the, oh, Golden Hour was the candle wax that I used. Oh, I don't think I I think when I posted the vlog last night, I read like the first 10 or 20 comments, and I don't think I read past that, so we'll get to some comments in a second. But then after that, I watched The Amazing Race, and then I watched Survivor. Both of them so good this season. Although on Survivor, I don't want to ruin it for anybody that's not caught up on it yet, but I will tell you, at the Tribal Council, they got rid of the wrong person. The guy that... it's a first-time thing that's never happened before on Survivor, and it's just like a kind of a comedy of errors that happens, but... hey, how are you? Good. It's like this guy, like, he's probably like 75, like walking down the street. He's got on like a polo shirt tucked into like khakis, and he's like carrying he looks like he's looking for something. It doesn't look like he's just on a walk. Who walks like in khakis and a polo shirt buttoned up all the way, you know? And he's like kind of like just like staring over here the whole time. I was like, is he like coming up here to sell me something? Like, what's going on? But anyway, the Tribal Council on Survivor, this season of Survivor is really, really good. But Tribal Council on it is so crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like, when it started, I was like, how much time do we have left? And I looked, and there was like 20 minutes left. And I was like, oh my God, what happens in this Tribal Council? Because Tribal Council is usually over in like 5 minutes, you know? So many I think Alex just came downstairs. So many crazy things happen in this Tribal Council. But it comes down to like one person's decision, basically, and he made the wrong decision. He made the wrong decision. But anyway, so I watched that. I watched Amazing Race, and then I watched Survivor, and then it was after Survivor, I was awake. I did not drink any coffee last night. I was awake, and I was like, you know what? I want to make some lemonade. Well, I gotta look at the weather here in a second, because I think it's gonna get cold. If it gets cold, then I won't want lemonade. I'll want decaf coffee late at night. But I've been craving lemonade, like Crystal Light lemonade, and we have some in there, so I gotta look and see if it's expired or whatever. We've got like 2 things of it, of like pink lemonade, because Alex, he will not drink yellow lemonade, but Alex loves pink lemonade. Isn't that the weirdest thing? Anyway, I mean, it's not the weirdest thing. Isn't that the weirdest thing? So anyway, but he loves pink lemonade whenever I make it. He's like, oh my God, you made pink lemonade? I'm like, yeah, it takes 2 seconds. You throw the Crystal Light in there and add some water. But anyway, so when I was done with it, I was like, oh, like, I should watch Station, I should watch Ghosts. Every night, I'm like, you need to watch Station 11 and get it done, but I'm so obsessed with Ghosts. So I watched, like, my goal was I was like, at the beginning, I was like, 5 minutes into an episode, I was like, I'm going to finish this episode because that's like 15 minutes, right? But then I ended up watching 3 episodes. It was bad. It was like 6:30 when I went to sleep. The thing that's weird is I keep on waking up before my alarm goes off. I don't know why. I was telling my therapist about this today. I mean, it wasn't like deep thoughts or anything. I just don't really understand why that's happening. So, yeah. And then I got up today and got more done than, you know, when I got up, I wasn't planning on filming anything but a Peterisms video and a vlog. And then I ended up filming a drama video and a review video. And then tonight I'm just going to relax. I'd like to take a walk tonight. As soon as I get done with this, I want to take a walk and listen to a little bit of this, what do you call it? A little bit of this James Patterson, Violets Are Blue book that I'm reading and get further into that. Okay, let's look at the temperature really quick. What it's tomorrow's supposed to be like 75 or something. It's 72 degrees outside right now. Oh, 72. It's supposed to be down to 51 tonight. Okay. Oh my God. Today high was 77. Tomorrow 78. Oh, Saturday 71. It's still gonna be nice on 70. Oh, it's supposed to be thunderstorms. Windy with thunderstorms in the afternoon, high of 71. That'd be kind of a nice day. We can open the windows and air out the house. But then Sunday, it drops down to 47. That's where I'm worried a little bit about the birds and stuff. And then Monday, 59. Oh, Tuesday, 73, 71. Then 44. That doesn't make any sense. 63, 55, or 58, 56, 52. No 55, but... what is this ad on here? It says, this cute and realistic bunny robot toy is perfect for Easter. No, I don't think so. That kind of freaked me out. Anyway, let's read some of the comments on the vlog, shall we? Just a few to end the vlog. Oh, God, am I almost at 30 minutes? I didn't even realize that. Okay. Did anybody tell me about candle waxes? Teresa, hey Teresa, she said ever since we got to try Swig, well, Swig is like the soda place that they drink in Salt Lake City or Utah. They drink it on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Ever since we got to try Swig while on a trip to Texas, my hubby has been making his own Texas tab using Diet Dr. Pepper, vanilla syrup, and coconut creamer. It's his new obsession. I actually think I did that on my video, that one. But I didn't realize you call it Texas Tab. I kind of live for that. Oh my God, so many people, I did read these comments, said they call it the Ups truck. Here it is right here. Ashley said, which I got right, Ashley, not Ashlyn, okay? My little sister also called it Ups, like Tanya, for years before I copped it one day when I saw the truck pass. I couldn't stop laughing. Thank you for being a good citizen on the Ups truck, because I don't call it the Ups either, but so many people say they are. Somebody said... Brian said, whatever setting that you're using now with it being darker is so much better. I think that the older setting that you used was really washed out and super bright. You think, I agree with you 100%. I do. It was bad. I think that if you held your phone up and tried to show us stuff, it would work now. Well, let's see. Kind of. A little bit better. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that, Brian. Thank you. All Cauliflower said, it's so wonderful to hear. You aren't first, Cauliflower. Oh, that's interesting. It's so wonderful to hear Mrs. voice again. Oh, Mrs. That's what Boo Radley called her. Somebody said, Stacia said, Peter, squirrels can carry rabies and bubonic plague. And somebody said can, but it's very unlikely. I'll Google all that. Somebody said, Emma said, I like the second camera setting better. Anna asked me, have you read The Midnight Library? Sounds like what you're talking about regarding being... Well, okay, by Matt Haig, I loved The Midnight Library. And actually, I have his newest book on Audible, and I haven't listened to it yet. It's like one of my next reads. If you've not read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, it's a little science fiction-y, but, well, not really. It's about, I don't really want to ruin it for anybody, but it's like kind of like sliding doors, like what happened if you did this and did that and like things like that. Sean said, I think the darker video setting looks better. Sean also said, thank you for talking about how stressful it is to watch Matlock. My boyfriend just loves it, but I'm sitting next to him on the verge of a panic attack because she gets so close to getting caught. LOL, it's so good and I love the show, but it stresses me to F out. Me too, 100%. I agree with that. Okay, Ritz crackers. I was talking about the everything bagel crackers. Ritz crackers. But that's not what I meant. But that counts as well. That counts. You get the point for that. Okay. Natalia said, you're not going crazy. Oh, by the way, so many people have sent me this movie about Natalia Grace. Your name reminded me of that. That's coming out. It's called like The Family or something like that. Okay, I will watch it and cover it for my Peter Watches TV channel because like I'm kind of obsessed with that case and I feel really badly for Natalia Grace. And people are like, do you think that she approved of this? Have you watched the movie? No, I don't think Natalia Grace approved of it. I think the movie looks horrible. I think the movie looks like they are doing her so dirty. And they are adding further to the stigma of all of it. You know, it really, really makes me sad that they will not let this girl go. Like, just leave her alone. I mean, seriously, leave Natalia Grace alone. The girl has gone through hell and back. Like, leave her alone. I honestly, I don't get it. I really do not understand it. That people are still like, she lied. I mean, it's been proven that she didn't lie about her age and stuff like that. So, I will watch it, but... The camera stopped. I will watch it, but I'm not excited to see the adaptation because I think they're going to do her dirty. So there you go. That's my reaction to it. I should probably watch a trailer on my Peter Watches TV channel and talk about it. But Natalia said, you're not going crazy. Exposure was definitely brighter when you came back from changing the battery. I like the darker setting. Thank you. Almost everybody said they did. All the three Fernies so cute. They are finicky for me to grow. They're hard. Yeah, they are hard. It's weird. Somebody said, I think it may have been Mare, that they don't want a lot of water. Since I have been giving them less water, they have been doing a lot better. Now, there's some dead parts. Fertilicious is doing fantastic. Farrah is not doing as great, but she's good. She's thriving, but she's got some dead strands on her that I need to get rid of and things like that. But we're going to bring her out here soon. Okay, Jennifer gave me a recipe for veggie dip. Cool. Half a cup plain Greek yogurt mixed with 1 packet of onion soup mix. It's so good. I feel like my mom used to make that back in the day. Maybe not with the yogurt. I don't know. The end of the vlog looked better. Said Nat, thank you. I like the darker vlog. Said Leah, thank you. I guess the darker vlog wins, doesn't it? Who is this walking down the street? So many people walking today. I want to get out here and walk. Paula said I like the darker setting. Feral Vlog said, I'm excited for the future Squirrel videos. You comment a lot on my videos, and I do not know what your first name is, so I always have to say your channel name, so I just apologize for that. But I appreciate you commenting on my videos. Like, Prissy Kitty does the same thing. I don't know her real name. I think she said at one point. But she commented too. Oh, somebody commented, she's talking about my mat that I got. Somebody said, and this was so smart, I actually commented back to it. Maybe it was on my Peter Does Stuff channel they said it, but that I could put like a rubber mat underneath that. I was like, oh, that's genius. That's what I'm going to do. Oh. Girl, I ain't bothered with you and your walking stick, Miss Villages over there. She is so rude. She does not care about me either. Anyway, hey, Miss Villages. I don't know why she doesn't like me. I have no idea. I've been so nice to her before. Oh, Ritz sandwiches with cheese. So many people are putting this. Brittany said I tried the Read the Truth from, oh, who put it? I can't remember who said it, but they said they loved the Deep and the Truth, but the Queen wasn't where it was at. The Deep was not my cup of tea as far as, and they said horror is subjective, which is so true with horror novels, because I love, who's the guy? Grady Hendrix. I love most of his books, but How to Sell a Haunted House sucked, and then people were like, I loved How to Sell a Haunted House. I was like, with that doll pumpkin? I mean, that is still a going joke with Nikki and I. That book was so bad, but some of his books were really good. I have one of his newest books on Audible that I bought a while ago. Robin said, here goes my gardener. The lady who, in fact, is his friend and not his gardener. She knows I call her the gardener, you know. Rebecca said my mom loves Diet Dr. Pepper. I just want to say thank you so much, but Rebecca, and you tell your mom we'll have a Diet Dr. Pepper together. Okay, she and I, well, she can come sit out on my front porch, your mom and I, and we'll sit out here and talk. Who's got that convertible? That's pretty. We'll sit out here on the front porch, your mom and I, and we'll have a Diet Dr. Pepper. And Rebecca, you can come too if you want to. Now, what I will say is, not a one comment, okay? Not one comment on here about wax melts. And I'm going to need to buy me some new wax melts. Okay. Kelly said the Deep was a DNF for me. I just couldn't get into it. It was so bad. Swan said, not Peter yelling at the squirrels to bring their friends over to eat the food he put out. I was bitter about it. I was. Oh, somebody here says, Amy said squirrels are not known for carrying rabies. Technically they can, but it's not likely. Well, I thought I was getting bubonic plague, somebody said. I do think about those things, though, you know. Does anybody put the darker setting looks better? Said Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Who's walking down the street? I hear somebody walking down the street. Oh, there they are again. You're back. Get your laps in. I'm about to come out there too. Somebody said, my husband is currently binging Suits. Also, I hear that intro over and over all night long. Well, Alex wears his AirPods, so I don't hear the intro. But I did say to him, I said, does that remind you of your show? Did you guys, what was the show that, I don't remember what he watched, but it was like a courtroom drama. And they filmed it during like the lockdown. And this one woman on there, it would crack me up so much. So whenever I would like imitate her in the kitchen, Alex would get so mad. I would like put a piece of plastic in front of me. Because she had this thing that she wore around her neck. And it was like this mask. But it was like this mask like this. Do you know the show I'm talking about? I don't want to, he loved that show. He got so defensive about that show. But like, he goes, it's one of the only shows that ever filmed during lockdown because they had all these protective things around. Like, they would like be in the office and they'd have these big plastic walls up and stuff, which was great for filming. But this woman was a judge on it, and she's a gorgeous woman. But she always wore this mask. So anytime I would be saying, hey, how are you? He has AirPods in, so he couldn't hear me. But every time that I would see her, she'd have this big, like, plastic shield mask on. And so when she'd be talking to somebody, and then somebody would be over, like, over here, she would go, like, the whole mask would turn. So we have, like, these clear plastic plates. And so I would bring them out. And I would say to Alex, I'd be like, can you come to the kitchen? I want to show you something. And he would get so mad. He'd be like, I love this show. It's not funny. I can't remember what that show was called, but he loved that show so much. I think he's the only person that ever watched that show. I never heard anybody else talk about that show. Can you do a vlog or a video where you go over your favorite shows and books most recently read and favorite TV shows? I am home most days in need of good books and shows. I've had a hard time finding something that keeps my attention. I love true crime and investigative shows. Well, first of all, I will say I have a Peter Watches TV channel that I'm covering all that over there. Okay. Let me give you a few suggestions really quick. Best true crimes I've ever seen. Well, the Foxhollow Farms one is fantastic. The Jenks 1 and 2, unbelievable. In a way that I didn't think that it would be. What's the one that we read the book, and then we ended up meeting the author, or talking to the author, and she came to the book club? Oh, shoot. It's similar to the Delphi situation. Oh, my God. Did you guys hear that more information came out about Delphi? Oh, my God. I might make that video. It was on the news that I saw some news station here posted on the Facebook yesterday. Oh, they released, that's what it was. They released the whole tape of the Down the Hill thing. You can hear the girls talking before anyway, and there's like, you can hear somebody else's voice supposedly on it. Which is so weird because just yesterday in my video, people were asking me about Delphi. But that's not the case I'm talking about. Hell in the Heartland. Hell in the Heartland. Relentless on Max is unbelievable. So many true crimes are so good. It kind of depends on what you want. Murder on the Friday Night Lights, I love. Thriller investigations. I mean, any of the Harlan Coben ones I've watched, I really, really like. Books. I would go through Reese Witherspoon's Reese's Book Club and read see which ones like she's got all of her books listed on her website, and you can see, not her books, but the books that she picked. And see which ones you really liked. If you've never read these thrillers, books that I would recommend are The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. These were books that got me right back into thriller reading again. The Frida McFadden, the Housemaid books are really, really good, I think. I have the third one to read. Lisa Jewell, I've only read one of hers, and none of this is true. It was fantastic. I can't wait to read more of hers. Probably one of the best books I've read in years. Mandy Matney, Blood on Their Hands, I think is what it's called, about the Murdaugh trial. Fantastic book if you like to read true crime. But yeah, I could do that video. I could, if anybody's interested in it, I could do it. This video started like a Disney movie, birds chirping, but what makes this one better than Disney is Peter on the front porch. Aww, thank you so much. I like the video settings like it is now. Everybody, and here Stephanie said, I like the darker setting. Everybody liked the darker setting. Thank you guys. Thank you, Stephanie, and everybody else. So, somebody said, Cass said, sending love to you and Alex. Well, thank you. Sending love to you as well. Sending love to all of you guys. And not one of you commented on which candle waxes melts I should get. So I guess I'm just going to have to get online and look on Etsy and figure it all out. I'm kind of, like, here's the thing, though. I've, like, had a lot of people send me wax melts from, like, Etsy before, like, their Etsy shops that they make at home. And I think that's cool, start a business, do all that kind of stuff. But they don't always, like, hold up scent. Like, I want one that has, like, a really strong scent on it. So I'm going to have to look online. The ones that I used to get at New Age People doesn't exist anymore, on the north side, at least. I don't know if it does on the south side. But I can't remember what those candle waxes are called because I threw them away when I got rid of all those candle waxes. The boxes, or like the containers at least. I'm just going to look online and buy some new candle waxes from, anyway, we'll figure it out. But I'm going to get off here now. So, I hope that you are having a magically amazing Thursday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya. Happy birthday, Lena.